back to our channel. If you're new here, thanks for clicking on this video. If you're returning, we appreciate you. So in the last video, we were, talking about coming to Alabama and moving down here and where we've been, right? Because we've been gone for about 3 months. So we actually landed in, as we said in the last video, northern Alabama. It's Huntsville, Alabama.
So it was a journey for us to get down here to Huntsville from Connecticut, coming with the move, the interim time before we moved down to Alabama. And even since just moving into the house, it's been quite a lot.
Yeah. In those videos, you will see this painted smile on my face, which wasn't necessarily the case because around that time I actually lost my brother. So my older brother passed away, and that was really hard for me, really hard for our family, and we had to leave. We had to uproot right in the middle of boxing everything up and getting everything put together to make the move down here and uproot, go down to Florida for his memorial.
So like Dwayne was saying, it happened right before the house listing went live. So there were so many things that we were trying to get ready in order to make the listing active. And then unfortunately, we got the news and everything really came to a halt.
To add on top of that tragedy that we were dealing with, upon arrival back into Connecticut and trying to get back on the ball and get things packed up and moving, our cat got sick somehow.
Yeah, so Max had some issues, and I'll insert the scientific name for it, but essentially Max is an 11-year-old male cat, and I guess this issue is more prevalent with male cats, where he completely stopped urinating. So eventually Max needed to have what's called a PU surgery, and he was hospitalized. And we were completely freaking out because one, even though he is just a cat, he's still a family member. So there was like the cost of the surgery. And then also not even knowing, if the surgery was going to be successful or not.
Right.
Fortunately, it was, but that was just something else that we had to deal with in terms of the financial aspects, the time going back and forth to the vet, all while still trying to, work every day and get the house ready to sell.
So with Max being situated, he was still kind of, recovering. We had to put a cone on his head to keep him from licking those, areas where the surgery was. We had to uproot basically and sell a lot of the big, bulky stuff we had.
So we had a tag sale and we pretty much went through everything, and in hindsight we probably could have got rid of a lot more, but we pulled everything out, used the other platforms to try to declutter, and that was quite the event as well, because there was still a lot of items that were, getting sold like right up until we were closing on the house.
Mm-hmm.
So we did something actually really crazy, and we were going through with the house sale without even having our next house lined up. So knowing that we were set to close on September 27th, and it ended up getting delayed by a week, we needed to find temporary housing. So we went on this website called Furnished Finders, which was just like furnished short-term rentals. It's used a lot by like traveling nurses or just folks that are kind of relocating out of state or whatever. But we wanted something that was just going to be temporary for about a month to a half tops, that was already furnished because all of our items were in storage. Then we found an Airbnb that was about 30 minutes south of where we were in Bloomfield. It was 2 bedrooms, it was pet friendly, so it really checked all the boxes in terms of short-term rental, and it was available for the length of time that we needed before our plan moved from Connecticut to Alabama.
And yeah, we kind of just went along with the process. We were still unbelievably searching for a house while we were there. So we were completely homeless at this point, and we had nowhere to go. Talk about terrifying. We just were going with the flow. We didn't know exactly where we wanted to go. We knew where we wanted to be, but nothing was set in stone at that time.
So like Dwayne was saying, so we were essentially like living out of our suitcase. We packed enough things to kind of get us through like 3 weeks worth of clothes. We brought some food over from our house that, was able to transport to the Airbnb. And that was pretty much it. We just pretty much packed up like a few weeks of items for us. And in that time, it was really tough because all of the luxuries that we had and that we got accustomed to in the house, those were gone. Those were all in storage. And we really had to make the best out of kind of living in those circumstances until we got to our permanent residence. So on top of everything else, we still didn't know where we were going to end up. We were going back and forth on, do we want, the land, or did we want to, buy another house in more of a suburban setting? What state were we going to finally end up in? Alabama was definitely one of the top contenders. We visited Huntsville and we loved it, but there were still like some other locations like Tennessee and Georgia. Did we want rural, or did we still want more of an urban setting? There were still like a lot of things that we were looking at. And then obviously at the top of our list was the budget. We wanted to be able to find something that we could buy outright and not have a mortgage, but would that really be conducive to everything that we were looking for in our next home?
So what we opted to do was purchase a house in a neighborhood, and we basically had conversations amongst ourselves saying that once we purchased the house and we were in the location that we wanted to be in, at that point we can venture around and see if we can find land that works for us, but at least we will be there. Everything was being done from Connecticut. We don't know Alabama. We've never lived here. We don't know Tennessee. We don't know these surrounding states. So the best bet for us would be to get down here, and then we can look once we're here and get more familiar with the area.
So one day, while we were just kind of going through our search, this house popped up. And we absolutely loved the aesthetic of the house. We thought it was beautiful, kind of did the street view search, and the neighborhood, it was on a cul-de-sac and everything else. We didn't know as far as where in the city it was and kind of what was surrounding, except for just kind of looking at things that were on the map. But it checked enough boxes on the list where it's okay, this is the house that we're selecting, and we're gonna try to move forward with the purchase of it sight unseen.
Sight unseen.
So we did an entire video of our actual move down here, but one thing that we didn't show was just the experience with the movers. So like Dwayne said, the movers were planning to get here that Thursday. Let's say they picked up our furniture on, I think it was Tuesday. They picked it up on Tuesday and they were planning to be in Huntsville on Thursday. Whereas we were previously told that they would be here the following Tuesday. So we thought we had about a week in between the time that they picked up the furniture and then when they were planning to deliver it.
Right. So it was, and again, if you saw the last video, you can see I showed where we were at the storage unit and they were collecting the stuff to a quick cut. Just plans changed, So what happened was these guys, after they loaded everything up, they just left. The guy called me and he says, we're on our way down to Alabama. And I was like, what? What's going on? That's not what we weren't expecting that. So that kind of tripped us up in a big way.
Yeah. It was like a mad dash scramble.
It
Like,
was.
we were kind of planning on, all right, we'll go ahead and celebrate Halloween. We were planning to everyone leave together on that Friday. I was still going into the office every day because my job at that time had like a 5-day office requirement. So I needed to be there, and they already knew that we were moving from Connecticut to Alabama. So the plan was for us to leave on Friday because we got the go ahead for that. So with the movers kind of changing the plans on us, it was just like, all right, last minute, we had to pivot, and Dwayne and Julian got on the road like 12:30 noon on, what was it, Wednesday, to make it for Thursday morning. So fast forward, the truck finally arrives. We get the rest of our stuff. Now we need to start unpacking and getting settled in, which, if any of you have moved recently, whether it's an apartment or a house, moving in general just sucks. So we had a lot of things that we needed to go through and really just start kind of putting things in its place to make this house our home.
We did do Thanksgiving here in this house. My sister and her kids came up. It was a good time. We didn't film any of that because at the end of the day, there was a lot going on still. So the next thing that we were really looking forward to was spending time with our son Dorian, who's back here, in Hawaii. This is where he's stationed with the Air Force. And we were so excited to see him again. It's been so long since we had a birthday with him. The last birthday we had with him
was his 18th birthday.
His 18th birthday, which is insane. So we were looking forward to getting to Hawaii, not only to see Dorian and spend time with him for his birthday, but also for our family to enjoy Christmas in Hawaii. And if you want to see that, you're going to have to wait. That's going to be in the next video. If you are a returning subscriber that watches this channel, we thank you so much. If you are new to this channel, we thank you for choosing this video, and we will catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.